remain detained for now. The next time we are set to see Maduro, his next court date is set for March 17th. So any additional information, we of course will bring that to you. And we also have another live look right here that I did want to share with you. This just into our newsroom. This keeps us in New York as we do see an armored vehicle there with some of the police escorts. So we're continuing to follow all of these developments here on Live Now from Fox. I did want to bring you this new look here as we are continuing to follow all of the developments. And you can count on Live Now from Fox to bring you continuing reaction as you are taking a live look there from New York City as Maduro and his wife were escorted from court. They're going to make their way back to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. That is where they are currently being housed. And perhaps as we see a lot of the media following this right here, perhaps that is the tanker where they are being held and escorted back. So we do see a lot of the media there running to travel with that armored vehicle right here as we continue to follow all of the developments. Meanwhile, the United Nations is currently holding an emergency session right now to talk about the situation in Venezuela. All right, okay, we do have another live look here. This is an aerial view of the same escort that I also wanted to share with you, as it does appear that Maduro is being escorted back to the detention center in Brooklyn where he and his wife are being held. So this is from a helicopter, as yes, it does appear as though this is the police escorting both Maduro and his wife back to the Brooklyn Detention Center. That's also where Sean Diddy Combs is being held, as well as Luigi Mangione, just to name a few of the other individuals who have been held at that detention center in Brooklyn. But we continue to follow this motorcade right here from the aerial vantage point to the helicopter, as we do see there's the armored vehicle and a number of other police vehicles escorting Maduro and his wife back to the detention center where they are currently being held. There is no bail granted. They have agreed to be detained for now. Legal analysts say it's incredibly unlikely, if not impossible, for Maduro and his wife to have bail, and unfortunately that live look went out. But we did want to share that with you as the helicopter was following the motorcade as it was on its way back to the detention center. A live look there from New York City, and we were sharing with you that the United Nations is holding an emergency session to talk about the situation in Venezuela. We were hearing from U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, as he was speaking. We also heard from the representative of Venezuela, hearing from countries as they share their thoughts and opinions. And happening right now, it does look like the representative of Uganda is speaking. So let's just, at least momentarily, dip into that.
I thank the representative of Uganda for the statement. I'll now give the floor to the representative of Cuba, who has asked for the floor to make a further statement.
Gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my delegation feels it must take the floor again to respond to the unfounded accusations formulated by the United States against Cuba. We are indignant that those that have led unilateral aggressions and systematic violations of international law pretend to judge other sovereign states with a totally immoral and irresponsible attitude lacking respect. We fundamentally fundamentally reject the accusations that Cuba has intelligence assets in Venezuela. These kinds of statements lack any factual base and are a clear attempt to take the eyes of the world off the criminal acts of the United States in the region. Cuba strictly respects the sovereignty, independence, and inalienable right of the Venezuelan people to decide their own destiny, as established by the United Nations Charter. Cooperation between both countries is in multiple spheres, has legitimate bases, and is based on bilateral agreements signed by both parties, as has been declared by the revolutionary government. The 32 combatants that fell in terrorist acts perpetrated by the United States were in missions of the revolutionary forces at the request of Venezuela. Those patriots were heroic in their action, showing solidarity with millions of Cubans. These accusations attempt to suggest that Cuba is involved in this way in Venezuela. We categorically reject that. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Cuba for the statement. There's no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.
So that was the conclusion of the emergency session there, as we were hearing from the United Nations addressing the situation in Cuba. But I did want to share this live look with you, as Maduro and his wife are set to return to prison. And this is a live look from the aerial view of the motorcade that we have been seeing. So it's a little unclear from this vantage point exactly where they might be, but we do know that they are en route right there. And I did want to share just a little bit more information as we work to pull up this live look right here. But some more information if you're just joining us at this hour, as Maduro and his wife are now headed back to prison, as he and his wife have pleaded not guilty to the federal charges levied against them, including narco-terrorism. But we are seeing some of these cars here. It's a little unclear as to exactly where Maduro's motorcade is, but we continue to follow this live look, as we do know that they are both headed back to prison after court. Maduro repeatedly telling the judge, proclaiming his innocence, saying, quote, "I am a decent man, the president of my country." Maduro will next appear in court on March 17th, and we continue to follow this live look here as we see a number of vehicles now stationed on the side of this road. But an aerial view, as we know Maduro and his wife are headed back. And take a look at this. I'm going to pop in another live look that we're just getting in to our newsroom right here. This is a live look of a helicopter, and that is how Maduro was previously transferred by helicopter before making his way to court. And now we see the reverse happening as he and his wife are now returning. So this is, you can see on the underbelly of this helicopter saying NYPD. So this is a police helicopter as we continue to watch. Let's just raise the audio to see what we can hear.
I don't understand.
All right, so as you can see, some of these shots have now ended, but this is another aerial view, as we do know that Maduro and his wife are set to return to the detention center in Brooklyn. This is an aerial view. Now, we were sharing with you the NYPD helicopter, although that live stream abruptly went out. So we're just continuing to monitor all of these different images that we're getting into our studio right here. And sometimes they switch on us, but that's what live TV is all about, as we are continuing to pull all of these different angles and perspectives to share with you what is happening there in New York City, as Maduro and his wife are now headed back to prison after their arraignment in federal court. No cameras allowed inside court, so we are relying on media who were allowed to watch the court proceedings in an overflow room through a monitor, and that's where we've been getting more information as the two are now returning to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. That is where they will continue to remain. They have agreed to be detained for now. Their attorneys have indicated that they might revisit the issue of bail a little bit later on, but according to legal analysts that we've been speaking to, that seems highly unlikely. And you can see again, this live look has now ended. So I'm going to pull in another shot. And you can see this does appear to be maybe another angle of where we might be expecting all of this to unfold as they're going to return to Brooklyn. We do see an NYPD boat there as we watch this static shot of what appears possibly to be a dock. So we're continuing to follow all of these developments, but as we wait to see what unfolds here live, I do want to recap what happened in court. The judge read Maduro his rights. The judge acknowledged his counsel, Mr. Pollock, reading what was essentially a Miranda. And at the time, Maduro told the judge that he did not know of these rights, but said that he is now informed. Maduro pleading not guilty. The judge also asking if he has read the indictment. The counsel did answer for Maduro, saying that it has been summarized for him and that he does understand it. Maduro did waive the public reading of the charges, saying that he will read them himself, and he also addressed the judge. The judge did cut him off, saying that there will be plenty of time for him to speak, but Maduro did share this to the judge before he was cut off, saying, "I'm innocent, I am not guilty, I am a decent man, the president of my country." So that is what the judge told, that Maduro told the judge, rather. The judge, though, saying that there will be time later to argue his case. Maduro sharing this statement in Spanish as an off-screen voice translated what he said. So we are continuing to follow this live look here. We haven't seen much movement yet. Now, we were seeing some of these aerial views of the motorcade that was transporting Maduro and his wife. This is a live look here where we might be seeing more action happening as Maduro and his wife are going to be transferred back to the detention center in Brooklyn, where they have been held ever since he was taken into custody, transferred to New York, and then placed at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Maduro and his wife pleading not guilty. So we do see that the camera is now panning, and it's a little unclear as to exactly what the camera is going to be panning to, whether that is we do see that there is a police car with flashing lights. It does look like perhaps this might be the motorcade that is carrying Maduro and his wife. So we're just going to stay on this live look, as it does see that some of the traffic there is at a standstill to allow for this transportation to happen. And we do see also maybe another vantage point right here. I'm going to pull up this live look. This is just another angle for you, as we do see this here also in New York. So we're going to continue to monitor all of these live looks. What we're going to do for now, though, is we are just going to step away for a brief break as we anticipate perhaps the arrival of Maduro and his wife, although we don't see that armored vehicle that we were watching live from the helicopter as it was on its way. So for now, we're going to just step away for that brief break, but we're going to head right back to our breaking news coverage.
Explore the rivers of Europe with Tauck and connect more deeply to the people and places you visit. Enjoy a more intimate, engaging atmosphere with fewer passengers on board and expertly guided shore excursions without the crowds, all included in one upfront price. Travel beyond ordinary. Travel with Tauck.
Live info from Fox 10 o'clock 8. Leaving topics for you. Apps section with 88 items. 3 columns by 30. Prime. 8. You. Launching YouTube. No more items. Make you. Entering dialogue and make you. Search button 2 of 2. Keyboard. Recent searches, Maduro legal analysis 1 of 5. Loading. Search results for Maduro legal analysis. Pro analysis was Maduro's abduction legal. CNN new to 95K views. Bullet 1 day ago. Shorts 1 of 20 or more. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ken Trumper. People also watched Pro. Nicholas Maduro pleads not guilty at first court appearance in Shorts. Pro. Nicholas. Short. Back button. Make you press search. Keyboard. Maduro 2 of 5. Search results. Live. Shorts. Pro. No. Maduro. Watch has Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro arrived in Manhattan for federal court hearing. USA Today, new 98K views bullet 4 hours ago. Shorts, 14 of 20 or more.